So apparently we have some big news quotations regarding the future of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And well, apparently it's an actual thing if you believe the rumors. So yeah, let's talk about the big thing that's been making the rounds on social media and the platform. So let's get straight into it. First of all, the guy who's making this announcement, or at least the unofficial leaks or rumors or whatever you call it, he's actually he's one of the people who kind of like put in this tweet several months ago confirming that he met Victor Uchida and Dragon Ball Super manga wasn't returning in 2025, which we pretty much knew and we could kind of see. And he took a picture with the guy, if I remember correctly, and I believe he's revealed some other stuff in the past. I just can't remember it at the moment, but let's look at what he actually revealed. So info on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 that I obtained from a reliable source in Japan and can now share. 1. It's well in development. 2. Numerous delays and some aspects have been completely redone from scratch. Okay. 3. Graphically very beautiful. Okay. 4. A playable version already exists. And 5. A release in 2027 or 2028. Now, I actually think that this is very feasible. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't really out of the question for them to pretty much do a Xenoverse 3 sometime between the 2016 through up to now, but obviously they probably had to pause certain things or kind of like focus on other things, and maybe certain decisions had to have been made during that several year period to where they kind of like put Xenoverse 3 on the back burner. I mean, it makes sense because, you know, Xenoverse 3 was always a thing that was always possible, despite what idiots might have said otherwise. This guy, Sofian El Geek, however you pronounce his name, he actually confirmed it. Well, he actually doubled down on it, saying, since he shared some info, I can confirm what he said. Xenoverse 3 is indeed in development. There have been delays and it hasn't been easy because some things were complex to achieve. The graphics will be magnificent. No precise release date at this time. Now this kind of like at least lands some more credibility because he was the one that did the interview long time. He's the one who kept up with the Sparking Zero stuff, and I believe he did the interview with Daima, but maybe I'm having some memory problems. But regardless, he has 195,000 subscribers. So, you know, that does land some more credibility because he wouldn't really benefit for him to just make up a lie and rumor for a game like Xenoverse. It just wouldn't make sense. So at least, okay, you can go, at least for me, I'm going from, okay, a bit cautiously optimistic to, okay, you know what? Maybe it's real. Maybe there is maybe there is a leaker or whoever, someone in the inside. I don't know how these people get these insiders or sources. I don't know, but you know, it's not impossible, especially with someone like Dragon Ball Hype, who's got multiple sources up the ass, apparently. As of now, Dragon Ball Hype hasn't said anything, and he's pretty much one of the most reliable people when it comes to rumors and leaks and all that stuff. Leak culture, oh my god. But yeah, you know, he's someone who hasn't said anything yet. I don't know if he has a source in Japan, or if he still has these sources that gave him the information about Sparking Zero and all that stuff earlier. I guess that's just a thing that we have to wait and see. Something I will say is that when looking at the Lewis guy's comments, apparently he doesn't think, or at least it's reasonable, that it will not make Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 will not make an appearance at Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, the one that's coming in 2026. So if that's the case, that's interesting because that would be the perfect time, realistically, especially for a new game. If you're not going to do that, then either they would release it either the announcement would be in late 2026 or sometime in 2027. I don't know. I mean, how could I fucking know? Come on, guys. One person said, if this is true, it's an admission of failure by Sparking Zero, to which he says they are two completely different games. Yeah, that's true. Hard to compare. Success or not, Xenoverse 3 would have still come to be. Yeah, that's true. And he's also confident, I guess, about, oh, I've already proven several times that my sources were reliable. Thanks and have a good day. Which is probably true. You know, I'm not gonna go through every fucking thing he says or does. Come on, be fucking realistic, idiots. Come on, man. So I'm not good. So if you're gonna go in my comment section, you're gonna be like, oh, but he didn't say, but how do we know it's reliable? Well, you know what? I would say we don't, but at least, you know, there are rumors and leaks, and, you know, you're free to keep like an open mind. I will as well. I'm not gonna tarnish it. Like when you look at this, for example, this time it's real, guys. Trust for real, 100%. Okay, people are not getting it apparently. I am being sarcastic. Okay, dude. Well, the thing is, it's very possible, but I think what he and a lot of people do is kind of like, they probably get tired of hearing rumors or whatever. But the thing is, it's like, leak culture does exist. There are people who are higher above us. Higher than me, higher than you, higher than many other people who do know these things. They have insider information and they have things that you or other people do not know. That is the reality of the situation. So regardless of what you might think, I would not put it to an impossibility. You know, maybe you could think, maybe you can be skeptical, but to just throw it away just doesn't seem correct, because especially when we kind of consider the fact that Future Saga Chapter 4, we don't really know if they're going to really do DLC after that. And it's reasonable to think that they might not, because here's the thing, with a lot of these people who keep staying stuck on the Xenoverse 2 mantra, games have to improve. Games have to exist on a higher plane. There has to be another sequel that surpasses the previous one. You know, when people say stuff like, what would the Xenoverse 3 even include? I'm like, you fucking moron. It would change the fighting system. It would improve like the fighting mechanics. There will be balance changes. There will be a bunch of stuff, more characters, which, by the way, yes, Xenoverse 3 has less characters than Sparking Zero, so they could obviously include new stuff. They can include new mechanics, okay? So it's like, yeah, okay, there is an argument for Xenoverse 3 to be made. Hell, you could have made an argument for a half-baked Xenoverse 3 to be made. Come on, man. And it's not in relation to this guy. You know, even though I have very, to put it on a light term, disagreements with this guy. The fact of the matter is, I think 2025 was probably one of the worst eras of Dragon Ball gaming. 2024 and 2025, I'm not gonna lie, the Xenoverse 3 would be very exciting, and it would really, like, it would give me a lot of excitement, and it would make me a lot more happy because we'd have a lot of variety. But you know what, I also think, you know, Bandai could fuck up again. You know, whether they rush these developers, they rush dimps, you know, Bandai Namco is, at this point, I feel like a Xenoverse 3 would be very great. And it would be a pleasure to have it in a world where Sparking Zero is unfortunately that main top guy, that main top dog in the Dragon Ball era and in the Dragon Ball thing right now. I don't fucking like that. You know, I have a hate and love relationship with Xenoverse 2, but I would welcome a Xenoverse 3 because it would include improvements. The Sparking Zero, if I had the choice, man, I would have huck-hied that game from existence if it meant having a Xenoverse 3 and a Fighters 2 earlier on. But that's just me. Regardless, I have very controversial opinions, and if you agree, fine. If you don't, whatever. Anyway, that's it for now. That's all the news that we have. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time.